Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech show. Coming up on this week's show, we got some really cool news. We got Greg Minnaar's brand new signature handlebar grip. Loic Bruni talks to us about the new Fox downhill helmet. There's Vinnie Jones and that new insane looking Decoy YT e-bike. And of course, there's plenty of other stuff, including those new Crank Brothers wheels too. So first up in the news is the brand new signature Greg Minnaar handlebar grip. It's called the Bartender Pro and it's from UK company Burgtec. Now the Bartender is already a grip in the range from Burgtec and it's made of soft tacky rubber. It's got a lock on at one end, a taper on the inside and it's 30mm thick. Now this is slightly different. This is to Greg's preferences and apparently Greg is quite fussy. Probably wouldn't call him fussy, I'd just say he's a bit of a perfectionist, which kind of shows in his history of his racing. So 3 times world champion, 3 times World Cup overall, 21 World Cup wins and 75 World Cup podiums. That's quite a lot to one rider's sort of history on a bike, I guess. Well anyway, so these are made of 25A super tacky rubber, so really good for vibration damping and ultimate traction, and they're a little bit thicker. They're 31.5mm thick. They retail for $19.99 and they come in a whole bunch of colours. Good stuff. Next up is the new Crank Brothers Synthesis XCT. So this is the cross-country and trail version of their popular new wheels, which of course are very different front and rear. The whole theory behind the wheels is you've got a very stiff, stronger wheel out back with 32 spokes and a more compliant, lighter weight wheel up front with 28 spokes. Now this is the wheels on screen, so as I say, they're XC and trail focused. The front rim is 26.5mm internal and 31.1 external. The rear rim is 24.5 internal and 29.5 external. As I mentioned, 28 spokes up front, bladed spokes by SRAM, 32 out rear, the same SRAM spokes. And the really cool thing is it's got the new Industry 9 Hydra hub, which has 0.52 of a degree engagement on them. I've never heard anything like this. Listen to this. Oh, how good does that sound? Yeah, of course there is a premium for these wheels. They cost £2,150 a set, or in US dollars, $2,399, and it's the same in euros. But they do weigh 1,519 grams. They've got a lifetime warranty on the rim, and they're in 29-inch size. So perfect for the XC riders out there and the trail riders. They're definitely strong and stiff enough for those riders too. Man, those things look nice. Next up is another new product from Burgtec. Of course, they're very well known in the UK, at least for their flat pedals. They used to have that flat pedal Thunder sticker seen back in the day. And their famous flat pedals are called the Penthouse Flats. They're now up to Mark IV, but they also have a Mark IV in the composite version. So the Penthouse Flats are very high-end premium pedals, and for a few years there was a bit of a joke around the UK that they were going to release a cheaper pedal and call it the Council Flat, except that wouldn't have been that funny on a global scale. It's very much UK humour, but this is that pedal. So it's a composite pedal, just known as the Mark IV composite, retails for just under 40 quid. It looks absolutely fantastic, bargain of the century perhaps. And over to Canada now with Raceface. They've got their new versions of the Next SL crankset. Now the Next SL was insanely stiff and very light. In fact, I think they were one of the lightest, if not the lightest, for a while on the market. And I've got a very cool launch video. This is it on screen right now. Now these cranks are something special. They really are. So they've got pedal insert on them, so they're very dependable, so you're not going to be pulling any threads out of those cranks. They've got an improved lightweight carbon layout for precise power transfer, or so they say. Anyway, there's numerous spindle length options and it's cinch power meter compatible. So they can also run a 12-speed Shimano drivetrain with the direct mount 12-speed compatible Shimano chainring on there. They come in 170 and 175mm lengths, loads of BB options, and there's also boost and non-boost compatible chainring options there with the different chainline options on them. And they are made from US source carbon and are handcrafted in Vancouver, which is very cool. I know that'll please the Canadian fans out there. They've got a 3-year warranty on them, like a no-nonsense warranty, which for carbon cranks of any kind is fantastic, considering the sheer amount of abuse that carbon cranks, or any cranks for that matter, tend to have. They weigh 428 grams with a 32-tooth chainring. That's with no bottom bracket mind. And they retail for £400. That's crank arms only. Without the bottom bracket, you pick the option that you want. But if you want a super high-end, super lightweight, 3-year warranty set carbon cranks, that could be the ones for you. Next up in the news, of course, is the launch of the new SRAM G2 brakes. That is the second generation of the Guide, the brake that was first under the SRAM name. Of course, before that there was Avid brakes, which they had in-house as one of their in-house brands. Now, SRAM produced the Guide in 2015, a fantastic brake with lots of options. The G2 has ironed out a few of the little complications that did arise from those guides, and they're more powerful now. They're 7% more powerful. They've got improved stiffness on that rear caliper. The caliper itself is a brand new design, taking kind of notes, I guess, from that code, which is the downhill biased gravity caliper. So there's more material on there, there's more bulk on there. The pad recess is smaller, and of course they've put that material on the outside of the caliper. So the whole thing is stiffer, so there's way less flex. So when you're pulling on the lever, that power transfers directly into the disc rotor. Very cool new brakes. Just going to throw you to a clip of the video I shot for GMBN Tech that went up last week. That's going to be in the description below this video, so make sure you click through if you want to find out more about those brakes. But very cool, and they've also got something I'm going to pick up on in Tech of the Week later on too. And next up, I'm going to throw you over to Henry over at Rotorua once more. We did it last week, we're doing it again this week. Here he is with Loic Bruni talking about that brand new Fox full face helmet.
So also, pretty exciting for the new season is the new Fox Rampage helmet.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. A lot more ventilation than the older model.
Yeah, I think they're going big on the ventilation game, and I think that was the main focus, but also make it a little bit safer, I reckon, from the last one. And pretty stoked. It's a little bit big. My head is extra large on this one, so I'm a little bit like you.
I'm a bit of a melon head as well, man. You got to stick together, eh?
Yeah. But no, pretty stoked, and yeah, it looks way different from every other ones on the market. So.
And it's quite a smart paint job as well. How much do you appreciate that as a rider? When people like Red Bull go into the extra effort.
Yeah, so my French painter, Etienne, is such a good good painter, honestly. Everything is perfect. I know if you have details later, but it's so well painted. Yeah. And I always want a little bit of kind of giving shape to the helmet, and he always try to make some stuff with the gold or the chrome, whatever. So we made a good one, I think, and that's the first one though, so we're going to come with some thicker ones soon.
Of course, Super Bruni on the back.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Is it true you have a 30 centimetre tattoo of that on your back?
Yeah, but I can't show it. But actually, you know what? We had a big problem with because we had another logo, and one of my friends, we wanted to make some merchandising and stuff, and we had the logo like the Superman, S of Superman, and we got contacted by Warner Bros.
No.
Like, you have to stop that real quick, otherwise we sue you. I was like, okay.
Wow.
So we can keep this one, but we go really low key now, but it's it was pretty scary. I was like.
Yeah, don't want to get in trouble with those boys, eh?
No.
Nice one. Thank you very much, man.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
See ya.
Cheers. See you later.
Cool, thanks for that, Henry. Great to see you again on our screen, and really cool to see that helmet in use by Loic as well. Now, finally in the news this week, quite a disruptive advert yet again from YT Industries, this time featuring British ex-footballer and movie star Vinnie Jones. I've got to take my hats off to him. I think this is a fantastic video. I love the little nod to American Werewolf in London, which is one of my favourite all-time films. Plenty of great stuff in there. The bike looks really interesting as well. You're going to see more of that on the GMBN show next week. Okay, now it's time for Bike Cave. This is where you keep your bikes, you lock them up, you tuck them up in bed at night, you work on them, you tweak them, you do your top mods at home and all of that cool stuff. If you've got a cool place where you keep your bike, even a place that's not so cool that you keep your bike, take some photos of it, tell us all about it, and get it into the uploader link on the bottom of the screen right there, and we'll put you on the show. So first up this week is from Gary in Wicklow. A bike room I have for maintenance and escapism, and a bit of burn if I'm training. This looks awesome. So you've got a lot of medals hanging up on the wall there. So I'm guessing you're pretty established, as I'm looking at road bikes, cyclocross bikes, mountain bikes, probably running as well. Looking at the picture that's up on the wall there, looks like you might be at the top of a mountain, can't quite see. You've got your TV set up, golf clubs down the back as well there. I'll tell you what, it looks decent. It looks like a giant shed from this angle. Rubber flooring in there, you've got your turbo trainer set up with your fan and a radiator by the looks of it as well. Looking good. Good setup, Gary. Thanks for sending that in. Nice work. Now, this one really pleased me. This is from Chris in South Wales. So I think this is the only other one we've got this week, but this one is a biggie. There's a lot of pictures. So this is a VW Caddy mini camper. Can take bikes on a day trip via the Seasucker axle mounts, bike on a solo overnighter, or the bed can extend into a double for non-biking duties. Plenty of storage under the bed when paired with an awning outside. Tell you what, you've done a sterling job if you've done this yourself. This looks fantastic. I'm going to show this to Neil actually, because I know he's in the market for either doing something similar or getting a camper van. Right, so there's your one bike setup. In fact, that looks like a pretty good dream setup for just a night under the stars, so to speak. The Seasucker like axle clamps look really good, absolutely solid. It's quite a deluxe setup that actually. For such a compact little van, you've managed to really use that space. Right, so this one's from Lee in Sheffield. My name's Lee. I've been riding trails in and around Sheffield for a little over a year now. As I don't have a secure place to store my bike and parts properly, I use my work hydraulic engineering van. It's perfect. It's when I finish my day's work, I can go straight down to the many trails in and around Sheffield. I've become a big fan of GMBN and watch most videos, and this has given me great ideas how to store my bike and kits I need to go with it in the van without getting in the way or getting damaged. Thanks Doddy and the GMBN team. Dude, you're more than welcome. Thanks for sending this in. Great shot of you and Steve Pete there, Sheffield hero. I'm pleased to see there seems to be more bike-related stuff in your van than it does work-related stuff. So you definitely got your priorities right, I reckon. So what you've got in there, some maintenance fluid, you've got some muck-off dry lube, your glasses, nice bungee cords keeping the wheel up and out the way. Got your bike bungeed on the back there. Bungees are great, aren't they? Really handy things. There we go. Now it looks like a work van. Is that a bench grinder in a van? Can't quite tell, it looks like one. Awesome setup in there. And you've built like an axle clamp as well. That's pretty smart. So this is like a homemade version of that Seasucker unit we just saw in the back of that caddy. Looking good. You've got Vice in there too. Joe Blow toe peak pump. And there's all your hydraulic stuff. Awesome. Thank you for sending that in. Always good to see an alternative place. See, it doesn't have to be a posh shed or an outbuilding. It can be the back of a van. So get yours into us and we'll put them on the show next week. Okay, now it's time for Rewind. This is our retro section of the show. If you've got anything old, it's a bit of a show and tell really. Show us what you've got and I'll tell you a bit about what I know. If there's anything you want to know, let us know that as well. You can add those in the comments underneath. Use the hashtag Rewind. Or better still, if you've got something old, take some photos of it, or better still, a video of it on your phone and send it into the link that's just on the bottom of the screen right there. We love this Rewind stuff. It's so cool. I really like the fact that mountain biking is old enough now that we can actually look back, laugh and reminisce about all that old stuff, because that's really given us these amazing bikes we have today. Right, first up, this one definitely makes me smile. So some of you will laugh at this if you haven't seen this before. This is called the Cool Tool. There's nothing cool about it. It was just a tool, basically a spanner. So thank you, Phil from Kent, for sending this in. Dolly, I found this tool. I'm sure you'll fondly remember it. An original Cool Tool. Yeah, I completely remember the Cool Tool. Didn't it begin with K rather than C? I think it was old school cool when they're trying to be alternative cool. Had it when I was racing my 1990 Klein Attitude and I'm still using it now. Fair play, mine went rusty a long time ago. Tools included a 4, 5 and 6mm Allen wrench on there, 14 and 15 gauge spoke wrenches, a 10mm box wrench. God, what would you use one of those for these days? Not much really. Probably would have been for cable on the rear derailleur, I reckon. We use like a T25 or a 4 or 5mm these days. Phillips screwdriver, chain tool, tyre tool, pedal wrench, emergency crank bolt, 14 15mm sockets, bottom bracket adapter, Cotterless crank wrench and a cuddly toy. Amazing. So it's got all the essentials on there. Only joking about the cuddly toy. Pretty cool to see though. Multi-tools have definitely come a long way and there's brands out there now that are making some really, really fantastic stuff, but the old Cool Tool's still pretty good. Useful bit of kit and quite pleased actually secretly to see one still being used. You're right, I do have fond memories of them. So thank you for sending that one in. So this is from Dennis in the Netherlands. This is a Rocky Mountain Blizzard from 1996. Oh my days. Look at the length of the stem on that. Beautiful bike. Absolutely beautiful. So what have you written about this? So loads of detail on here. Rocky Mountain Blizzard. It's got a Syncross titanium seat post, a red Celitalia flight saddle. Looks like a Calloy stem, I can't tell from this angle. A pair of Pace, what are they, RC36s, I reckon. Kind of similar to, that's the 35 up on the shelf behind me there. This is a 36, had the brace front and rear on there, which were quite cool. Raceface cranks on there. Man, there's some very, very cool looking stuff on there. Beautiful looking steel frame. And it's good to see that you ride it as well. Getting it muddy there. Some Onza ski bend bar ends on the end. So you had stubby, ski bends and L bends. L bends were basically full L. Ski bends just had a little bend on them, and stubbies were, as they sound, just little stumps just to hold on to. I do predict, in fact, I think bar ends are going to make a little bit of a comeback in the world of cross-country racing. We've gone for wider bars now, which gives you more control, and arguably the frame sizing and geometry on bikes now is a lot better, that you don't really need them. But for longer distance riding, a change of position. So I'm thinking for stuff like the Cape Epic, I mean, you are starting to see some riders using them, but I reckon that bar ends, or at least modified handlebars of some kind, will start making an appearance back into cross-country. Anyway, there's a look at the frame. Classic with a maple leaf on there. Really, really lovely looking bike, that. Classic steel. Love the slightly dropped top tube on there. That was quite aggressive looking. I think Rocky Mountain, Kona, and only a couple other brands were doing it with that styling back in those days. But oh man, so many nice pictures. Thank you for sending these in, Dennis. Really, really nice to see. Oh, we are out of rewind time for this week, but please continue to take pictures of all your old stuff and send it in. Okay, now it's time for Tech of the Week, and this one's a little bit of a geeky one. Well, of course it is, I'm telling you about it, that's why you're here. It's a pair of brake pads from SRAM. So earlier in the show I mentioned the new SRAM Guide 2 brakes, known as the G2. They've got 3 sets of brake pads available now. Previously there was 2, you could either have organic or metals. They are still available, but there's 2 different alternative sets of the organic pads now. So the metallic pads, ultimate pads really for ultimate braking power, but they're not ideal for everyone because they do need to be running at a higher temperature in order to work the best. So they're not always going to be the best choice for a rider out there. So that's where organic pads come in, because they heat up very fast and they're very grabby, the nature of them. However, they don't work in all conditions the same way, hence having the 2 different types. Now, there's 2 types of organic pads now. There's quiet and there's power. So the previous pads, the black ones, they are now referred to as the quiet pads because they're very quiet in operation and they do their job well. The other pad, known as power, this is the new one. They've got a grey backing plate just so you can identify them against the other 2 sets of pads. And named power, you guessed it, they are more powerful than the quiet pads. In fact, they're insanely powerful. They're very, very grabby. I'm quite astonished by how fast it takes to bed them in and how powerful they are. I think it's a really, really good addition from SRAM to have that. They fit existing guide brakes too, so they don't just fit the new G2 ones. And pricing are $25 a set, or €25 a set, and 23 UK pounds a set. That's the same price for all 3 sets of pads there. So it's just great to have options, because one of those is going to be the right set for you if you use those brakes. There we go, there's another weekly GMBN Tech show in the bag. Hopefully you enjoyed all the content on the show. Please don't forget to get your entries in for Rewind, Top Mods and Bikecave, of course. If you've got any comments, let us know underneath this very video. In the meantime, if you want to watch a couple more videos, in fact, click over here to our Pro Bikes playlist. There's all sorts of cool ones on there. In fact, look out for some good ones from Blake coming soon. And click down here if you want to learn more about those SRAM G2 brakes. As always, don't forget to give us a huge thumbs up if you love GMBN Tech and all our content. If you've got any ideas, again, let us know down there. And don't forget to share and subscribe. Cheers, guys.